Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to get into the second part of the Aviation pass to developers. There's a few pretty fun vehicles here. We're not going to go over the Piaggio because it's been passed before, and also at the same time there are some copies here, but with at least some unique stories, so we'll have a look at them as well. We'll be doing the ground stuff tomorrow, and that will be most of the pass to developers done. There's a lot of it this time, which is why I've had to segment it, but don't worry, we'll get through it as always. Let's get into the suggestions passed to developers. The first vehicle is for China, and it is the Shenyang J63. The J63 was designed originally as a much improved variant of the existing J6 aircraft in the fleet of the PLAAF. With the intention of improving its performance as an all-weather maneuverable fighter, while Chengdu J7 and the Shenyang J8 were having development setbacks in the era. The first flight of the new variant was in 1969 on the 5th of August. The type, however, didn't have an easy introduction. In the first batch of production by Shenfei factory, there were many production flaws that were apparent with the new Interceptor variant, as the factory used inadequate materials, low-quality non-certified steel, and rushed without certification, prioritizing quantity over quality. This resulted in all of the aircraft being delivered being returned, and over 300 aircraft having to be reproduced, and improvements were made with the air intake and hydraulic systems, with the type being reintroduced in 1975. The variant, however, enjoyed a long service life until the PLAAF retired the aging J6 types in the late 1990s. While the J63 mainly carried the Pili-2 or Thunderbolt 2 type as the main anti-air missile, some prototypes were also produced with minor modifications to the wingtip pylons, allowing them to mount early PL-5 anti-air missiles. The engines were two Wopin WP6A engines. It had a maximum speed of 0.988 Mach, and also, at the same time, had a lot of similar factors to what you've seen, such as the three Type 30 cannons, two mounted on the wings and one under the nose, with 70 rounds per wing cannon and 55 in the nose. And then, of course, the PL2s and also PL5s being around the place. It could also carry some bombs if it wanted to. For France, we have the Mirage 3 NG. The Mirage 3 NG, with NG standing for Nouvelle Generation, or New Generation, is an ultimate variant of the Mirage 3, 5, and 50 family, imagined by Dassault Breguet in the early 1980s, intended for existing customers of the Mirages, or new clients that wish to acquire a very modern and affordable jet fighter. The Mirage 3 NG could be acquired via modernization of already existing customers' fleets of Mirages, where they could upgrade the 3, 5, or 50 to the 3 NG standard, or by directly ordering new planes. The 3NG is based on the Mirage 50 itself, being a further development of the Mirage 5, the strike variant of the Mirage 3, and the 3NG is nothing less than a Mirage 50 with a redesigned delta wing, featuring an apex, fixed canards, and last but not least, a fly-by-wire system derived from that of the Mirage 2000. The first prototype flew in 1981 at the hand of Patrick Experton, and its flight performances were a vast improvement over the original Mirage 3, thanks to the apex and fixed canards, which coupled to the powerful Snake Murata 9K50, delivering 70.6 kilonewtons of thrust, they greatly helped to mitigate the loss of speed during aggressive maneuvers with a high angle of attack. During the flight, the plane was not yet equipped with fly-by-wire controls. To further improve the already great performance of this aircraft and give it a better chance of being sold in a very competitive export market, Dassault decided to replace the original flight controls by a full fly-by-wire system in order to squeeze every bit of performance the plane could deliver and make it a true modern fighter. In this final form, the plane was proposed on the export market from 1983 until 87, even if Dassault stopped the promotion of the type as soon as 1984. without receiving a single order, most nations favoring more recent aircraft such as the F-16 or the Mirage 2000C. It was stored at Istra, where no one really took care of it, before being restored by the CAEA team and displayed in front of Dassault Aviation factory at Seclan. The Mirage 3NG was a completely different plane from the first Mirage 3 that started to be developed almost 30 years earlier. Sadly, the legendary bird could only be pushed so far, and at the time where the F-15, 16, 2000C, MiG-29, etc. were filling the skies of their respective countries, the Mirage 3NG was the swan song for an aircraft that definitely left its mark in aviation history. More than a simple piece of high technology meant to be sold, the Mirage 3NG is very certainly a tribute made by Dassault to its most successful machine so far. We then have Israel's Lavi, which was Israel's most ambitious attempt to create a cutting-edge fighter jet, which remains a subject of fascination and also debate. You could get a single-seat multi-role fighter or a two-seat conversion trainer. It started its development in 1979, with its first flight in 1986, but then the project was cancelled in late 1987. It used a Pratt & Whitney PW1120 afterburning turbofan, and also its maximum speed was 1,965 kilometers an hour at 10,975 meters. It could carry a lot of different armaments as well. It had a cannon, one internally mounted 30mm DEFA Type 552, an improved DEFA, equipped with a hood-mounted static sight. It could also carry some air-to-air missiles with 4 Rafael Python 3 air-to-air missiles, or 2 AIM-9Ms, and then also it had a maximum external load of 7,257 kilos, meaning that it could carry a bunch of different stuff if it was ever developed. The systems inside had the environmental control systems. The Lavi featured an Elbit Systems environmental control system responsible for air conditioning, pressurization, and power plant bleed air control. The system ensured a comfortable and controlled environment for the pilot. The aircraft utilized a bootstrap-type hydraulic system with a high-pressure rating of 207 bars, equipped with license-built Sunstrand pumps to power various hydraulic components. The electronic systems were powered by a 60 kVA integrated drive generator, providing single-channel AC power at 400 Hz. The main battery, and they also standby batteries, served as backup power resources. The Sunstrand also supplied the actuation system, featuring geared rotary actuators, which played a crucial role in controlling various aircraft components, including leading-edge flats. The Lavi also was equipped with an emergency power unit and a secondary power system, ensuring redundancy and safety in case of power failure. The Lavi's parts were almost entirely built and sourced with Israeli companies, which means a big part of the workforce was involved in this project in one way or another. The avionics on the Lavi were designed to be modular, allowing for easy upgrades by loading new software into the Elbit ACE-4 mission computer. This approach aimed to minimize the need for extensive airframe modifications throughout the aircraft's service life. The avionics and control systems were entirely designed by Israel, and even though the aircraft might look similar to the F-16, it uses entirely different technologies and design philosophy than its counterparts. The focus was on flexibility and situational awareness to reduce pilot overload or workload, especially during the high-G maneuvers and in complex threat environments. The system as a whole was said to be 2 times more cost-efficient in upkeep, as it was way more modular than the F-16. The air data computer also used on the Lavi was enhancing the aircraft's ability to collect and process critical flight data. This component is crucial, as it was among the first aircraft to feature an unstable fly-by-wire approach. Also, it had some interesting designs when it came to its cockpit, basically with an LCD technology power plant indicators and integrated display systems. It had a hood, also 3 head-down displays as well. It had a hold autopilot and some other features, and of course the Albert Ace 4, as we've talked about before. The vehicle was also equipped with the ELTA EL-M2035, which was a multi-mode pulse Doppler radar, an advanced system that offered coherent transmitter technology and a stable multi-channel receiver. This radar provided reliable lockdown performance, high-resolution mapping, and tracking capabilities for both air-to-air and also air-to-ground modes. It could track multiple targets at significant distances and had potential applications in multi-role fighter retrofits. This radar is also found on some of the Israeli F-15s, some African and also Arab countries' MiG-21s, and still in service with the Colombian Air Force and their Kafir C-10s. Now, there is a bit of a controversy around this vehicle. The Lavi controversy emerged right after the Lavi had its first successful flight test. The project immediately faced US pressure to halt. The US main concern was that the Lavi could be a rival export success, as several non-Soviet influenced African and even European countries had already displayed that they're considering delaying/prolonging their evaluation process on their flight programs until the Lavi's completion. This meant that both the F-16 and 18 were now possibly competing not only against one another, but also against the, at the time, seemingly superior Lavi on many contracts. US officials, along with board members of American defense companies, started heavily lobbying into the project's cancellation, and the US went as far as proposing sanctions if Israel would start to export of the technology. The Labour Party was pro for the continuation, and the opposition was against a continuation, with the argument being the possible sanctions from the strategic partner of the USA. End of story. The parliament voting from Israel was only one vote in favour of the cancellation. The incident is still referenced in debates around independence of other states and political corruption to this day. Israel then moved their resources into aiding other countries with less of a budget, but still in need of a new fighter. Whilst disputed at the time of development, their involvement clearly can't be denied. Amidst this majorly known and by now proven involvement, rumors circulated in the early 2000s about Lavi technology possibly aiding China's J-10 program. Parts from the Lavi airframe apparently went missing, fueling speculation of espionage or corruption. Russian engineers aiding in the J-11 and J-15 programs claimed to have seen detailed documents with blueprints and parts of the Lavi. While unproven, these events highlighted the complexities of military technology transfer and international politics in the arms industry. We have another Hornet, the FA-18C MLU-2 Hornet, but specifically for Finland. The FA-18 Hornet entered service in 1983. Proved its value as a carrier-based strike fighter throughout the 1980s, and the success of the FA-18A and B continued with block-upgraded versions, the C and D. Meanwhile, in the late 1980s, Finnish Air Force started to look for a successor to the old, outdated Draken and MiG-21 series aircrafts. The F-16, Mirage 2005, or 2000-5, the JAS-39 Gripen, MiG-29 and the FA-18CD Hornet were offered for consideration, and the FEF chose the FA-18 Hornet. The FAF received its first Hornet in November of 1995, and in the following year, first Finnish-built Hornets rolled out of the Patria Finavitex production line. Total of 57 FA-18Cs and 7 FA-18Ds were delivered, and the production ended in August of 2000. Initial Finnish designations of the Hornet for the F-18CD without the A prefix, since it was delivered without air-to-ground capabilities. However, the MLU-2 upgrade restored some of its A-2G capability, and now Finnish Hornets are simply referred to as FA-18CDs. The Finnish Air Force operates 62 CDs as of 2023. As an American-origin fighter jet, the FA-18 has an uncommon design represented by large strakes and mildly swept wings. Due to this design, the Hornet is suitable for low-speed maneuvering. It's also notable for great high angle of attack capability thanks to its large leading-edge extensions. The Finnish FA-18CDs are late production models with the F404 GE402 enhanced performance engines. The EPE improves flight performances by providing much higher thrust than the original F404G400. For example, the Hornet with the EPE performs 27% better than the non-EPE Hornet in transonic acceleration at 35,000 feet. The major drawback of the Hornet is slow acceleration in transonic regime and low top speed. It could barely exceed Mach 1 at sea level, and it cannot reach Mach 2 even at optimum altitude. The Finnish FA-18CDs are equipped with an AN/APG-73 radar. Compared to the original AN/APG-65, the AN/APG-73 features 7 to 20% longer detection range and also enhanced ECCM capabilities. The MLU-2 Hornets also could carry the Lightning targeting pod and a centerline station, and the joint helmet-mounted queuing system was integrated to Finnish Hornets during the first phase of the midlife upgrade from 2006 to 2010. Unlike the original FA-18CDs, Finnish Hornets lacked air-to-ground capabilities. This was because that Finland was not allowed to acquire aircraft with air-to-ground capabilities under the Treaty of Peace with Finland in 1947. The Finnish Air Force even once changed its name to F-18 without the A prefix. Eventually, the midlife upgrade 2 in 2015 restored some air-to-ground capabilities. This makes the Hornet to be the first Finnish aircraft to drop live bombs in 70 years. The MLU-2 Hornets are capable of using AGM-154Cs, the JSOWs, AGM-158 JASSMs, and also JDAMs. The SAR BOL-500 dispenser is also added in the MLU-2 program. It is mounted on the both sides of the SU-63A pylons on the stations 2 and 8. Each dispenser stores 160 chaff flare cartridges. As you can see, there's a lot of jets to be added, and I'm sure we'll see some of them as we go along. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Schnitzel Stroker, Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Carrion Crow, Nicholas Richardson, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, B. Young, Opium Prime, Masonocrat, Lafouche, Alan Hacker, Sam Arslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.